Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to our Wealthy Wednesday call here at My Turn to Own. My name is Shanaze, and I'll be letting you know what the house rules will be for this evening's call. So, just to let everyone know, everyone will start off on mute upon entry. Everyone will be muted. If you do have something to say, please feel free to use the chat room. If you do want to speak, please raise your hand. We'll be more than happy to call on you. And then once we call on you, you'll have about 10 seconds to say what you have to say. And then you're being placed back on mute. So thank you so much for your time and your energy this evening. Without further ado, Miss Chrissy Williams.
Thank you, Shanaze, and good evening, everyone. My name is Chrissy, and I'm here to share with you our mission here at My Turn Home is to raise the rate of home ownership to 75% for all. Some of the things that we offer here at My Turn Home is credit remediation, micro mortgage financing, credit builder loans, down payment assistance, courses and events like tonight's Wealthy Wednesdays, and also agent matching. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the lending process with our community partners, Nicole Whitley and her associates. So with that, without further ado, I am going to introduce Miss Whitley, but I do have to do one slightly little thing, and that is to press record so that this is recorded. So let me press record. And with that, without further ado, Miss Whitley.
Hello, Chrissy. Thank you all so much. It's so exciting. Let me just tell you, for those individuals that had the opportunity to come out this weekend when we did the housing trolley tour, we were able to get people approved, 5 people pre-approved right there on the spot. It was amazing. It was actually tremendous. And I want to just tell you that if you have any reservations or any concerns, anything whatsoever, this is what My Turn to Own is here for, to help empower you with information and education that's going to elevate you and your knowledge and experience so that you can feel comfortable walking through this process of owning your first home or property, 2 flat, 4 flat, whatever it is your heart desires, right? And so with that being said, today we have an amazing lender panel. And this part is critical. It is so important. Because even today, I lightweight kind of laugh, but I know it's not funny, but I make light of it only because when a person decides that they want to go out and to go into home ownership, there is really a process. There is a success process that should be implemented so that that person can realize that dream, right? Connecting yourself with an organization like My Turn to Own is the key piece to it, number one, right? So that you can get trained and get some information. Then you definitely want to get with a HUD counseling agency, which is what we did last week, so that you have a HUD counselor on your side to help you to be able to get yourself prepared to go to a bank. Once you're ready to go to a bank, then you need to go to that bank prepared, just as the organizations tell you, with all the paperwork that you need to ensure your success. There are really important things that we need to make sure that we understand when we're going through this process. I was working with a client today, and we had put in an offer, asked for $5,000. One of the lenders on the call with us today, she was giving her $4,500. So she had $9,500 of down payment assistance money. And then when she got the little bit of information that she was gonna have to pay maybe $3,000 or $4,000, she lost it. What? $3,000 or $4,000? How am I gonna move? How am I gonna buy furniture? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And so she started thinking about all these other things of way that she wants to furnish the home and everything else. And to be honest with you, you got to work on getting the home first, right? And then what's so great about once you have your home is how you could take your time, because it's yours, to start building upon it. And you have to make sure that you get through that first step first. So having our lender partners on the line to walk us through the lending piece is critical. And even right now, I want you to know, you look, take everything off. It's okay. and do not feel afraid to ask any question that your heart desires. If you don't have the answer, the reason why we're meeting today is to get the answer. No question is a crazy question. Every question is valid because that's what you're thinking. And we want you to have the answers, because once you have those answers, you're going to be empowered with knowledge that's going to help you go through this process a lot more successfully, right? That's the way to do it. You want this to be a more easy and an effortless process. And the more prepared you are, that's the way it can be, right? It's not the easiest in the world, but it's absolutely possible for those people that endure. So I'm going to go right along right now. So let me just tell you how this is going to go. I'm going to get us started. I'm going to do the introduction to our lenders, and then we're going to start it with questions and answers. Okay, I'm going to be dropping off in just a little bit, and then you will have the freedom and flexibility to ask them whatever your heart desires. Okay, so we have Mrs. Deborah Slager on the line from, she's with Associated Bank. She's been a lender for over 41 years. And Deborah, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I see you. I see you. Okay. All righty. And then we also, do we have Alma on here? I don't see Alma yet. I'm scrolling through. Is Alma on yet?
No, ma'am, I don't think she's on.
She's not on yet? Okay, well, maybe she'll be joining us. And Don Meadows. We have Don Meadows. Don Meadows is actually in a hi, Don, how you doing? He's in a high position and moved up the corporate ladder in lending, and has been in lending for over a few decades or more. And so I just want us to jump right in right now and start to prepare to ask some questions. So I'm going to start off with you, Deb. If you could just tell us a little bit about the lending process, and then we'll turn it over to Don.
Okay, so with obtaining a mortgage for first-time home buyers, the number one thing that we need is your credit score, because that will determine what kind of mortgage we can give you. Then we need to know a little bit of your background. Like we ask if you filed a bankruptcy. There's questions on the application. If you filed a bankruptcy, then we can determine if it's less than 4 years, you would have to get an FHA, a government insured loan. You cannot get a conventional mortgage because you need 4 years of a discharge on a bankruptcy. We also need, when we take an application, we also need 2 years tax returns along with your W-2s. We need 30 days of paycheck stubs, current paycheck stubs. We need 2 months, 60 days, current bank statements. And then we also ask for a picture ID. Getting this information will then put everything together. We can get your income, we can look at your credit score, and then we can determine, we can do a pre-approval, we can determine what we can qualify you for, what type of mortgage and how much money you can qualify at. Any questions?
Okay.
What
Don,
credit score do you recommend? I'm sorry, I'm with
go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
I want to know what credit score would you recommend for someone to go in to start their pre-approval process? Because I know the last webinar I was in with Miss Nicole and the HUD counselor, they were saying like you could go in with any credit score for pre-approval, but you kind of want to go in with 640 so you could get qualify for like grants and things. But as a lender, what would you recommend people to, go in with?
A 640. They were correct what they said, 640, because that's usually the minimum credit score for any of the first-time home buyer and any of the grant funds. Other places do have lower, like some mortgage brokers offer a 580 for an FHA, but you wouldn't be able to get any grant funds. 640 usually is the minimum.
Right, thank you. And Don, you want to chime in? Tell us a little bit about the lending process. Anything you think that could be added?
Well, Deborah covered up to the lion's share of what's important, and then from that point we look at, I would get into the minutia. What's going on with your student loan debts? Have you filed for an income-based repayment plan? And don't fight us when we're asking for documentation. We're not trying to hurt you. The only way we can get this done if you do what we ask you to do. And a lot of customers give us what they think we need, and we find a lot of times correcting paperwork because we don't want to get the underwriter the wrong thing. That's going to spin your loan spiraling in the wrong direction. So a lot of times, if you don't understand, I would suggest that you ask the question or even repeat the question that we ask you so you're clear on what we need. Because I would say every day, if not every other day, we get the customer's documentation and we're asking for some clarity, and they're a little skittish about giving it to us. We're not trying to hurt you, but you have to be honest with us because we can see certain paperwork and we know what we need. So if we ask you for an income-based repayment plan, because FHA requires 0.5% of the student loan, and some folks can't afford to buy a house because of their student loan debt. And if we're doing conventional financing, not government financing, I need your student loans to be at a certain point to be able to give you a mortgage. And that can affect how much you can afford. Or if you filed bankruptcy and I need the schedules to verify the debt you said it was in the credit report is actually in the bankruptcy. So it's a lot of details to the information that you provided that a lot of customers don't read. We have to read it.
Don, I think you said something so important about people reading the information. You know, way too often, I know that there's a lot of legal language on the documentation and people may feel intimidated by looking at it. But I still think that it is critical that people look at that information. Even the first piece of a pre-approval where you typically may have the interest rate and have the percentage that they have to put down, you know, those things that's on there. Let's talk about going through the pre-approval process. What does that look like? What do you
first
guys
is collecting the documentation. When we first look at the documentation, the credit report, that's when we can determine what type of loan we're going to do. You know, that's the first point. Then we look at the income because we want to know we're at a threshold because the customer might have in mind, I want to pay $2,000 for a mortgage. And I say, well, your income has to support it. It has to make sense for us to do. And if the income doesn't support it, you know, they have, as they say, champagne taste and beer money sometimes. We have to bring them to reality. And some folks actually want to pay less than what they can actually afford, which is a good thing. But we have to have that conversation about what's affordable. Because pre-approvals and pre-qualifications, we have to provide a pre-qual. That's just looking at the credit without even ascertaining the income. But a pre-approval is actually looking at the income, verifying the assets and credit, and sending it to underwriting for an approval. So that's a lot stronger than just having a pre-qualification. The underwriters have reviewed it, approved you for a loan without a property being attached.
Yes.
So if you could, pre-approval is the strongest way to go.
Yep, that's a good place to be in. Hey, Deb, you had anything
Yes.
to add on that?
Well, what Don said about telling us everything up front, everything, the good, the bad, tell us before we do a hard credit pull. If you have your soft credit, the credit pull, the soft one, we would like to see that up front because then before we even do a hard pull, we can look at it and maybe if you want to qualify for a higher loan amount, we can tell you, okay, pay this down or pay this off. But tell us the truth up front. Don't wait till we pull your credit or we get your documentation and then say, oh, that showed up. Yes, it did show up. Tell us up front so then we know what we can do to get you a loan approval. Don't tell us after the fact because once we have your credit, once you're in the system, we can't take that away. It's there. We can't change it.
Deb, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Oh my God, because you know these are real stories. This is true. We had a young lady and we sent her through the HUD counseling, got the credit report, and we noticed that she was maximizing. So she had money in the bank, but she was maximizing all of her credit cards, right? Which in essence, guys, it doesn't make any sense to do that. When you do that, you're paying all this interest on your money. You let your money sitting up in the bank and you paying extra money on your money. So I know when I go to the grocery store and I got to pay sales taxes in the state of Illinois, city of Chicago, 10.25%, I'd be like, I don't want to pay all that. I don't want to pay all that money. So now just imagine, now you're paying double that, almost 25% when you're owing on these cars. So in this particular case, she had about 3 or 4 cars, and they were all to the max, and they were lower high balances, right? So she had one for $1,000, but it was $800 owed on it. She had another one for $1,500, but she owed $1,400. So this right here was killing her credit. So luckily, we had an opportunity to take a look at that before we sent her to the lender, and we said, listen, no, you got all this money sitting in this account right now. Pay those bills down. Pay them down, because her credit went from a 600 when she paid them off to over a 640, literally within 30 days. So now when we sent her to the bank, she looked like she was really the ideal client. Now she had a little less money in the bank, and that was okay for her affordability. But at the end of the day, her credit shot up so she can take advantage of every opportunity, the grants, and all the other incentives that came along. Let's have a real conversation, guys, about the fact that when people go out here and they're shopping and they're buying and they're doing, tell us what y'all really are looking at on those bank statements. We want to know.
Can I chime in for 1 second?
Please
because
do.
you hit on something that I'm trying to be as correct as I can, Miss Wheatley, but I need you all to have some skin in the game. I really do, because with a lot of the phone calls, we get, and the when people reach out, it's like, do you have grant money? Do you have down payment assistance? And it's like, yeah, we have those things, but at the same time, I need you to help us help you. Because I don't want anybody coming to the table with the mindset that I don't have to do nothing but sign my name and I'm gonna get a house. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. And one thing I do love about the individuals that's on these platforms is they know where to get the money at. But you have to help us position you to get the money. So therefore, we have to change our mindset from putting the carriage before the horse. And just like Miss Whitney was saying, you got to, we can't get you the house because you focus on, do I got enough for some furniture? Like it's so backwards. Like, when do we get to a place where it's like, okay, I know that this process, it takes sacrifice because I got to do what I got to do to get me a house. So once I get the house, and what you said, Miss Willie, was so amazing. You're not going to furnish your whole house in a day. It doesn't work that way. You may get a half of the couch today, next paycheck, get the other half of the couch, 2 paychecks later, get to bed. But what I don't want you to see, we move out of this mindset. And that's why I say we're not in the business of selling houses or selling mortgages, but it's building people. Because I do understand that systematic oppression has taken a toll on everyone, and trauma has taken a toll on everyone. But we have to get to a place where we stop focusing so much on the bed frame instead of the mattress. Yeah. We spent $30,000 on a bed frame. Oh, do you see the wood? Do you see the this, that, and the other? Did the TV pop out? But the mattress, we trying to bargain for $30. It don't make sense. And the mattress is what's going to support your body. But that's the mindset that we're operating out of. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Miss Wheatley.
No. You know what, Don? Actually, listen, I'm about to turn this over to you. I got to jump on another call, but I want to just bring to everybody's attention that I just threw in the chat a new grant that just came out. It's for $3,000 to help you with your closing costs. As soon as I saw that grant, I called all my clients immediately to let them know, listen, you got money, you got money, you got money, you got money. Fill out the application before it's gone. Listen, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. They're going to continue. But remember one thing, this is called My Turn to Own. And that's make it personal. My turn, that's me, that's you. It's your turn to own. God bless you all. And I'll be back next week as your realtor, going over all the real estate, the appraisal, and also the inspection. All right, hey, Jamal. How you doing? Who was that? Who was that? Jamal?
Green. That was Mr. Green.
That's Green. Hey, Green. How are you, Mr. Green?
Hey there.
All right, you guys. God bless, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. But what we were transitioning, and Mr. Green, I'm bringing you in 1 second. What Miss Wheatley was asking, what are some things that you all see on your end as lenders that are big no-nos? and mistakes. Maxing out credit cards. What are some other things that are some some X's, some red marks?
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. Well, when we tell you don't use your credit cards while you're in the process, don't use them. Stay at your job. What we do is once your loan's approved, we have to call your employer to make sure you're still employed. I've had people that gave their employment that 2-week notice, and we call to make sure they're still working. And they said, oh no, they gave their 2-week notice. No, you can't do anything till we close. Don't give a 2-week notice. I told my client, you better go back and beg for your job. You're not going to get the loan. Go and beg for your job. Tell them you made a mistake. You're staying because you have to close on your house.
Yeah. I think they forget that. I think that they don't know. I think consumers or participants, they feel like they're flying under the radar, but they don't understand you all as lenders don't just pull or do a hard pull at the beginning to see if you're qualified, but they're also going to catch you on the back end to see before they allow you to sign off on this loan, has there been any crazy transactions so did you go buy that new Bentley in the middle of a close?
Or no, did you go and buy the furniture that you don't have to pay for 3 years because it's interest free because now you're approved? No, now you're not approved because we take that payment regardless if it's 3 years. Now you don't qualify for your house, but you got a house full of furniture to live where?
Exactly. Exactly. And what people don't understand is once you close on that house, if you want a car that bad, once you close on that house, the day you close on that house, you can go right to the dealership right after it and sign off on a brand new car. But you cannot sign off on that brand new car in the middle of closing on a home.
Right.
Go ahead,
correct.
Mr. Don. I apologize for
Not
cutting
that
you
you
off.
should sign on a new car.
Go ahead, Mr. Don.
I think I've heard this new terminology, and I don't have to ask Deborah, you might have heard it. People keep dropping large sums of money in the bank and calling it their COVID money.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, no.
I haven't figured it out. I don't know what it is. I wish they would stop. You cannot find $20,000 in cash and just drop it in your bank account and close on a mortgage.
No.
Now back in the day, I could do that. But now, with anti-money laundering laws and good funds transactions, look, it's simple. If you're doing an FHA loan, you can do 1%. You could do 1% of the actual sales price of the property and put it as a lump sum deposit in your bank account. If you're doing a conventional financing, you could do 50% of your gross monthly income. Anything other than that, you got to explain where the money came from.
Wow.
So, $200,000 house FHA loan, any deposit greater than $2,000, you're gonna have to write an explanation for and source it, or we're gonna back it out of your assets.
Right.
If you make $5,000 a month, you deposit anything greater than $2,500, we're gonna back it out if you can't source it. And what does that mean? You can have $10,000 in the bank, but if you can't source the $10,000, you're broke.
Got you.
So if you can't source it, you can't use it.
Got you.
Thank you so much. We do have a few questions here.
All right.
I have Ms. Lewis raising her hand. Ms. Lewis, please unmute yourself.
Okay, the question I have is something that I had saw today which was in the South Austin or the West Garfield area about, a lot of people are purchasing these old buildings, like maybe for $47,000, $30,000, and then they getting these loans to rehab the buildings, and then they turn around and they sell the buildings maybe $350,000, $400,000. And then my question to that is, now, how am I going to get approved for a building like that if they only approve me for $200,000 and they're selling these properties for $350,000? Something that I really and truly want, but I would like to go to rehabbing my first home, period.
Okay, did someone want to take that? If not, I think she's asking for strategy.
Okay. Well, two things. I've invested before. I still buy and sell property. The thing about this market, this is a seller's market. So you can do renovation. It's best if you have somebody walk you through the process of renovation, getting lenders that are doing 203K. But if you're looking just to flip it, you're going to have a little bit more, as what I heard earlier, skin in the game. It's going to cost you a lot more to come in and buy it, acquisition, rehab it, and be able to sell it. If you want to buy it and keep it, that's still the same strategy, because investors are not looking to sell their properties in the rehab to first-time home buyers. Not today.
Okay, so what if I just want to like rehab it for myself for the first time home buyer?
Wait, what are we dealing? Are you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's what the current issue is. Right now, it's the seller's market, and you're competing with investors. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. So if they see a $40,000 property and it's going to be worth $300,000, they've got cash, and there's no approval letter I can give you that's going to make a seller take your $40,000 loan over $40,000 in cash. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah. You'd have to have some type of personal relationship with the investor for that to happen. And we're currently in a very aggressive market. Now, it's not saying that you cannot get a house that you're going to live in to be renovated. Your only problem right now is we have a serious property shortage.
Yeah.
Are we dealing with? I couldn't hear the question in its totality. How many units are we dealing with? Are we dealing with one of 4 units, or are we dealing with 5 and up? We're dealing with commercial.
Just a 2 unit. I'm trying to just get a 2 flat for me and my children, and I just want to try to just rehab it the way I want it for myself as a first time home buyer.
Okay, well, let's analyze this deal real quick. And I'm not going to be, but the reason I'm showing, because I want everyone to see, does the deal make sense? So you're talking, first of all, what Mr. Don was saying was, this is a buyer's market. So therefore, you're going to pay over the price no matter what, until the market drops a little bit. You have so many people waiting to buy when the market drops a little bit, they're going to take advantage of everything. So if it's something that doesn't fit your income right now, don't make it fit, because it's not worth it in the long haul. Sometimes as an investor, or when you, and I tell everyone on this call, purchase your first property as an investor with the mindset of how much equity is in it, because one day you may want to refinance and pull some money out. You don't want to go in spending top dollar and premium prices where it keeps you in a place where you're living from paycheck to paycheck. You don't want that at all. So, and also the down payment is so great that you can't even afford it. Being a first-time home buyer is a fun and exciting process. Do not allow it to be a dreading situation whatsoever, or tap you out where you don't have a penny left. And now going towards it, it's like you're scraping with everything that you do. You can't even put a new door handle on because you're scraping, for peanuts. You don't want to position yourself like that. So where's this property at? I'm curious.
Well, I'm trying to stay in the area that I'm in, like the South Austin area, around Central and Madison, in that area. I really don't want to leave out this area, period, because I know that it's up and coming. They just doing a lot of rehabbing in the area.
Okay, and you saying it's a 2-unit building, right?
Yes.
Okay, two-unit building, and it needs a full rehab.
Yeah, I would like something like to rehab, even if it's like, if I get approved, say if I get approved for like $200,000, and if I do see a building for maybe $150,000 or something like that, can I use the rest to rehab the rest of the building?
Wait, give me 1 minute. Is this a realistic situation, or is this an idea of what you want? I'm thinking that you're talking about a certain building you saw.
Yeah, it's a certain building I saw.
Okay, so you saw a 2-unit building. Do you know how much the 2-unit building is?
No, I haven't looked into how much it really and truly costs.
Okay.
No.
So let me stop there. When you're dealing with real estate, it's about numbers. because numbers is going to tell. It's not about, and I'm not saying where you are concerned, miss, I'm speaking in general. When I first started off as a real estate investor, it was, oh, it looks pretty, oh, I could turn this into that, oh, look how cute it is, okay, I see it has great potential. But when you sit down and you work out those numbers, that's going to tell you if the property is worth purchasing or not. So it doesn't matter if it's a 2-unit building, and it doesn't matter, if it has this and that and it's cute and the school is right across the street. I mean, those things matter, but it really matters on a level of what's the taxes in that area, because that may increase your monthly by $1,000 a month. In some areas, the taxes in Flossmoor is like 15, 16, some up to $20,000. So you want to know, a contractor to give you a heads up on how much work needs to be done. If this is not your field, then in your mindset, oh, I could do some cosmetics of 20,000 or 15,000, but that the property might need a new roof. That may be $25,000 just off that. It may need a new furnace. The foundation may be cracked. So the point that I'm making, until you have an eye of an investor, or you partner, or someone that can guide you, you have to really focus on numbers. Because if you don't focus on numbers, you can buy yourself a lemon that you will never get yourself out of. So when you're looking for investment properties, you do want, not investment, I say all properties are investment, but when you're looking for that first time home that you want to put some work into, you may want to look at 2 or 3K loans, where they'll also they'll position you to buy the property, but also position you with the money to do the work on the property. But Mr. Don can help me a little bit more with this question, if it's anything else that can be said.
Right. I mean, we personally, we don't do 2 or 3K loans. I don't know if Deb does them, but we don't do them. I'm familiar because I renovate property myself. But the idea of owning a 2-flat, of doing and going through that process, it's a lot more than just seeing it and what the dollar value is on the house. You got to know what it's going to be worth once it's renovated, what the cost of renovation is going to be, and does that fit? Because if you pay too much for the house in the beginning, your rehab costs may exceed what the property is actually worth. Yeah. And when that happens, you may see a property on the market, it'll come off for 2 weeks, and it'll come right back on the market. Mm-hmm. That happens a lot because a lot of beginning investors think it's going to be what it is until they get their contractor in there, or some of them get stuck and they pay too much in the beginning, and there's not enough money to rehab the house to what the appraised value is going to be.
Yeah. Right.
So, and a lot of people get stuck. They watch TV at 2 o'clock in the morning. They got this idea that did exist a while ago. It did. I swear to you, it did. It's just not now.
I don't want to.
I don't want to discourage anybody. I don't. But I want to be real with everybody. Yeah. Don't put yourself in a place in a box when you can't go look for a house because you're looking for something that's not. It's just not today.
But you know what I wanted to add to that too? First time home buyers. Yes, it's nice to buy a 2-unit or 3 or 4-unit, but you also have to keep in mind, you need a cushion. What happens if you rent it and then the person loses their job and they don't pay the rent? And you were counting on that rental unit to help make your mortgage payment. Now you have to make the mortgage payment, the whole payment, because the bank doesn't care that your tenant lost their job and can't pay, and now you have to get them out of the unit. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to have a cushion when you buy multi-unit that or it's vacant and you can't rent it, you have to make the whole payment.
Yeah.
And take it from a landlord.
One thing I would say, just to close out on this, is your first time being a first-time home buyer, first time, your first time everything where the whole real estate industry is concerned, don't make it hard on yourself. Don't throw yourself in the deep water. You could get a property that needs a little bit of cosmetic, a little bit of paint, something basic where you can move right on in. Or, if you do a 2-unit, they already have someone that's there renting out one of the units, and you can, go and flow as you go. But do not, because even when you do a 203K loan, they're not just going to give you that money. They're going to give it to you in drawers. So now it's the thing of, and what drawers mean is they're going to give it to you in process. Like once one phase is done, then they're going to give
Then
you the
get the
rest.
money.
Then you got to go out and you got to look for contractors. Then, I mean, if you don't have these relationships in the real estate industry, it's hard, because even if you hire them to do the work, you don't even know what you're looking at. So you don't know if it's right or you don't know if it's wrong. And then what you'll do is you end up spending double the money because they burnt you. And then somebody else comes back and they can't even do the work for the second phase because they're like, hey, this stuff is not put in right. So now you got to pay the money twice. It just can get ugly when you don't know the industry. So the point I'm making is ease in, get yourself positioned first. Say if, the pipe in the bathtub go bad, start there. That's good. Now you call somebody and come in, fix a pipe, and now it educates you on, okay, this is this pipe and this is how this works. And this is the prices in the industry where you're not being overcharged for labor or material. So these are things you want to educate yourself a little bit about first before being taken advantage of. But I love the idea of house hacking, or I love the idea of I live in one unit and rent out the other and somebody pays for the mortgage. I love that idea. But we want to make sure we're taking advantage of a lot of these HUD has a lot of classes that teach you how to be a landlord, because even before you get into being a landlord, it's a language of being a landlord. If you're horrible in management, you don't know how to talk to people, and you get to things when you get to things, landlord may not be for you right now, because the way you treat you got to treat being a landlord like it's a real business. If you're not, they're going to put you in a category as a slumlord. So these are different things that you want to build up to as a first timer in this industry period. There's so many moving parts, but it's not saying that you can't do it. Let's move
All
on
right.
to the next question.
Yes, we do have another person, Miss Baker. Miss Baker, raising your hand.
Thank you. Good evening. I have a couple questions. I'm just going to try to make them very quickly. I appreciate the information so far. It's been very helpful. I would like to give the two speakers and three speakers, the two gentlemen and Deborah, just a little input. I have been working on my credit for a couple of years. I have been trying to get into buying position. I will be a first-time home buyer myself. I filed a BK in 2019. It was discharged in October. So I knew that, as of mid-October 2021, I would be ready as per the law with the 24 months. I just learned the 4 years. I thought it was 2 years. I've always been told 2 years. Just realized that it's 4 years for a different type of loan this evening per this call. But my question is, so would have been ready in October of this year. However, and I got my score, well, it was at a 687. However, I purchased a brand new vehicle for my son in 2020, a year ago, November of 2020. I actually purchased myself a vehicle, a truck in 2019. That has impacted my scores some. I'm noticing I've gone from a 687 down to my score has decreased, has dropped almost 87 points actually, due to those purchases. Well, I purchased my vehicle first. I purchased his last year. Adding that second vehicle definitely, brought the score down. I also had my credit ran for a home loan, and that knocked me down almost 60 points. Listening to
60.
someone almost over, it was like 53 points to drop me. And it was, I shouldn't have even done it because I hadn't waited the 24 months. I was listening to someone tell me, oh no, you can get approved in spite of the BK now. And like you just said, the both of you, you're gonna see it. I had a loan officer, from the Loan Depot. He said, Ms. Baker, you filed the BK. He said, everything's a go. He said, but this BK came up. And I said, well, someone told me that didn't, long story short, obviously it did come up. He said, no, underwriting will see that. They were wrong, whoever advised you that. He said, but for this bankruptcy, I would be telling you to send me the bank statements and the check stubs. So I understand that I did that and I had to wait this time. But that having that my credit ran for that definitely dropped me as well. So as I was at a 687, I'm like teetering over 6. And I want to know, and I've maximized some of my credit cards lately in just home repairs, just in the pandemic, a bunch of different things that have come up. And guys, I want to ask this as well. I want to give you this information. I resigned from my job. I just recently resigned from AT&T, whereas I was trying so hard to stay there for the purpose of the tenure to acquire the loan and see that through. I started a business at the beginning of this year. I obtained my life insurance broker's license. So I'm a licensed life insurance agent, and I went into business for myself, trying to manage corporate, build this bit. It just was stretching me very thin. I have a sick husband. I just got to my wit's end and I resigned from AT&T. And I know that would ultimately hurt me with being approved for the loan. So I guess having said all of that, do I need a full-time job? How much money do I need to have sitting in the bank for how long? How long does my business need to be established before that income is sufficient without a corporate W-2 proof of income? Do I have to wait another 2 years? That type of thing. Because I really thought I was going to be in position come this year, but now I'm feeling like I've kind of knocked myself off of the square a little bit.
So I want to start by saying, is it too late to get in there to get me a car too?
I know. Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
Can I slide in there and get me a car? That's the only thing I want to know.
I'm
Go ahead,
Mr.
Johnson, Miss Deborah. I'm gonna let you on. This is later. I'm gonna let you all take over this one.
Deborah?
Okay, so first of all, no, we can't use your self-employed income because you have to be self-employed for 2 years. So I would suggest you go back and get a job that, yes, is a W-2, because no matter what, even if you keep yourself employed, we cannot use that income. And you don't even have it on any tax return. So I wouldn't even put it on the application. So yes, get a job with a W-2. As far as your, no, it doesn't have to be in the same industry.
That's what I'm asking. Does it need to be in the same?
No.
Okay.
No. But you don't want to get a job where it's commission. It's a salary. And then we would just write a letter of explanation why you quit AT&T, the stress, the corporate world. You need something more laid back. That's all you can. That's what we could write a letter for. Second, credit cards. You said your score has dropped so much. Bring those credit cards down. That your score will go up. And to get any free money, any of the grants that are out there now and that are coming out, you need to get at least a 640. So since you have a bankruptcy discharge for 2 years, you'd have to do an FHA mortgage. There's no conventional programs for an FHA or for a discharge bankruptcy of 2 years. But you need at least a 640 and pay down the credit cards to like having a third. Your score will go up.
Do you think those 2 cars have really affected her debt to income ratio?
Yes. Does your son, did he sign on it also, and you, both of you? And is he making the payment? Do you have the cancel?
Yes,
ma'am. And it's been for how many months? How long?
It's been 13 months. We purchased in November of 2020. He pays on time every single month, some months early.
Okay. We wouldn't have to take that as a debt against you. As long as we can show 12 months canceled checks and a copy of the agreement showing that both of you are on the note and it's 12 months canceled, we won't have to take that as a debt against you for qualifying.
Awesome. I was going to be the co-signer, but I had the better credit and the best income.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're both on it, and you can show the checks. We're good with that. Don,
awesome. Thank you.
Well, is he making the payments to the car dealership himself, or is he paying you?
No, he pays them directly to the finance company.
Yeah.
I'm just the primary signer.
Okay.
And he pays on time faithfully. We both do. Those are exceptional on my report right now. Most of my debt is.
Yes, I want to bring in Mr. Green. He would like to say a few words.
Hey, everybody. First of all, thank you to our panelists and our team for leading this. I was stationary a minute ago, but I'm driving. But I definitely wanted to jump in real quick, and also first, I always got to show love to my chief of staff, Donna Michi, for leading the discussion. So I really appreciate him for all the work that he's doing. I want to also say, My Turn to Own, we're a housing counseling agency. So with we can support any and every problem. Every lender is different, okay? And so, like I heard someone talk about self-employment. We actually have some newer products that helps small business owners and those who are self-employed that may not have filed taxes for a long period of time, or folks who are, who have that 1099 form, or folks who might just have W-2s that may not have filed taxes. So we have products that are available to you through our agency, depending on your situation. So make sure when you are coming in and letting the counselor know, let the counselor know your whole situation. What's that financial situation looks like? What's your job situation look like? What's your self-employment situation look like? Have you filed taxes under that business? Have you filed taxes personally? What are those numbers? Have some idea of what those numbers look like, as far as what is, if we were to look at the last 12 months of your bank statements, of your business, what would that look like? We do now have opportunities for folks who are kind of untraditional. So make sure you inquire about that through your counselor, through My Turn to Own. We will also let you know how to strategize. There also been, so in the past, usually with these untraditional loans, they would be a tad bit higher on a percentage rate. We have some that are depending on the situation, still at the market rate. But if there's a situation, for example, if there was a situation, because what they used to do was if you had an untraditional situation, they'll put you in a loan, say it's a percent over or 4.25, and then plan for you to refi out of that within a year. Usually what would happen with those loans, which is why folks like us and others usually like to push them, is those folks never refinance and they get stuck in a higher payment and end up foreclosing down the line. So strategy is so important, but based on your situation, we will be able to help you and put together that plan and that strategy for you going forward. So I just want to let you, all my self-employed folks, know, as y'all know, I've been an entrepreneur 12 years now. So I think it's important for you guys to know that I'm definitely making sure that we can partner with as many folks and have as many products available so that we can serve you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Green, for always. First of all, thank you for this platform and giving people the resources to, become more educated in the process, because it's so empowering when you step to the plate and you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and people can't take advantage of you. Let's move on to the next question. Do we have any other questions right now, Ms. Shanae?
Yes, we do have Miss Miller. Miss Miller's hand is up. Miss Miller?
I see that she's unmuted. We just can't hear you, Ms. Miller. Okay, we'll get back to you. I see somebody else's hand is up.
Okay, yes, we do have Miss Thompson.
Hi, how are you? How's everybody doing?
We're great,
Hey,
thank
hey.
you.
Okay, I missed the tour, trolley tour on Saturday that was here. So I don't know if I could have got pre-approved or not, whatever. But I'm willing to go whatever length it takes for me to be able to be my own, to own my own home. Mind you, I've been renting for years and I'm an on-time pay rent. That's all I really know to do. I learned to do that at an early age, pay my bills. But um I was wondering, will there ever be another tour so I can be able to come out because I did miss it and I was registered. I was probably one of the first person that got a ticket to come there. So, you know.
All right. So we're always doing. First of all, thank you for stopping in, Miss Thompson. We're always doing. Do you have our tree? What is the link tree? Let's put our link tree in the comments, please. And you can follow us via social media, Instagram. You can follow us, via email. It just
YouTube.
YouTube. YouTube. There you go. Thanks, Miss Chrissy. I was running out of places they could follow us. But the point that I'm making is stay involved. Stay involved. We do
I've been involved,
Wednesday.
and here's the thing: I haven't missed the Wednesday at all
Okay.
since it started. I've been constantly, you know, I know it's a journey. I don't have the perfect credit, and basically, what I owe is no more than about $2,000 worth of stuff that's on my credit. I don't
Okay.
have credit cards and all those things, whatever. But whatever journey that it takes for me to get to where I need to be, I've been listening to everyone speak and all the speakers and getting good input and I got a lot out of everything, and I know it does take time. Nothing is a rush about anything. If it's too fast, it's something that you're missing. So I'm willing to follow it all the way through. I'm
So
willing.
this is what I'm gonna do. Miss Chrissy, put our email in the comments, and feel free to email I need one-on-one counseling, or I need one-on-one counseling strategies or something of that nature. And I'm going to put you in touch with our in-house counselor, Miss Irons. She'll set up a call with you to analyze your situation, come up with a plan with you, and walk you through step by step. And of course, the cold months, we're going to be trying to stay warm, but in a little more time, we may start opening up and doing some more equity Saturdays, where we're getting back out into the communities and analyzing deals and walking in homes. So we can educate you on what the process looks like and what to look for. So thank you so much, Ms. Thompson. Please take advantage of our link tree and also that email, and someone will be getting to you as soon as possible. All right. We got another question?
I do see that Miss Irons has a question. Miss Irons, are you still on the line?
I am, yes.
Awesome.
I just wanted to thank Miss Thompson for just saying, no matter what it takes, I'm in it to win it. And anything rushed is probably not for me, because I want to make sure I do it right. So those are the clients that I just love. I appreciate that. I appreciate being a part of that process as a housing counselor, to say, let me do it right, right for me. My question was for the lenders as far as REOs. Talk about like FHA inspections. If there is a 203K out there, are REOs, do they come with rehab money to do the rehab, or is an REO just sold as is?
Before we get into that, can we also define for our followers what is an REO?
Ladies first, unless you want me to go. REO is real estate owned property. It's REO, real estate owned, and those are bank owned foreclosures. As lenders, we provide our money. And a lot of times either we're what's called servicing or we own the loan. If we're servicing it, we're operating on someone else's behalf. It's their money, but we're the enforcer. We take you to court. We are suing you for the equity, the property, or it's our money, and we're taking you to court to sue you. So when we sell it as an REO, as a real estate owned property, we usually send those properties through asset management companies. I know it gets kind of in the weeds. These companies send it to brokers. Brokers then sell it. Sometimes you can buy it at auction. So it's like 3 different ways you can buy an REO property. Some lenders list theirs directly, where you can check their websites for the REOs they have for sale. Those are cash purchases. A good 75, 80% of those want you to close within 30 days and put down 25% of non-refundable money. So you can use programs to do it, but the window they give you to use is tight. Because REOs are not looking to wait for your average homeowner to come in and get a loan to get them done. At that point, we're just, as a lender, trying to recapture our money. Mm-hmm. So we're not on the waiting game at that point. Doesn't mean you can't. It just means, it's a time period. Now, HUD, in reference to, can I say something? HUD is the best option to do what's considered a REO property. And that's, the federal government will take a property, acquire it. You have to find a lender, or actually a realtor that has a NAD. It's an NAID. That's a number that allows them to go to HUD, and they can bid on a property for you once you're pre-approved. And those HUD listings are simpler to do. Or you can work with land bank, other community development nonprofits that have NCST, National Community Stabilization Trust, where you can bid on those REO properties. But just you going to do it, it gets complicated. It's easier to work with an intermediary that is helping you walk through the process, and it'll give you the time to actually close and purchase it. Doing it on your own, I do not recommend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we could try to see if Miss Miller, she still had her hand up. And then I also see, Miss Miller, are you there? I see that you're unmuted. We just can't hear you. All right, I see Miss Howard.
Hi, yes. Can you build houses with this program or no?
With which program? I'm sorry.
I mean, can we build a house, or is that not?
Ms. Deborah, can you? No, it's okay. Ms. Deborah, can you take that question? Also, Mr. Don.
So you want the money to build a house. So you want a construction loan. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so my bank does do construction loans, but you would have to, do you own the land? You'd have to purchase the property, the land, and then they would hold the land as collateral to give you the new construction money.
Okay, thank you.
So that's that financing, plus it's interest only while they build the house. So you're not going to pay principal and interest while they're building the house, because it could take up to a year, 6 months to a year to purchase your home. So you're not going to be making a mortgage payment of principal and interest when you're not even living there. You're just going to be paying interest on the money.
Okay.
But there are new construction properties that are out there that you can get, that we do finance, and you can get financing on it while the builder uses their own money to build the house. You're just getting the mortgage on it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I ask a question, Ms. Deborah?
Yes.
Because we don't usually have people that talk about building, so I'm very impressed about that. I think that's a beautiful place to sit for a hot second. What does that process look like? Do you buy the house cash and get a loan against the property to build off of, or can you you know, go like what does
Well,
that?
you would have to own the land first, so you're gonna have to find a lot. And we take the lot as the collateral towards the down payment of the house. And like I said, the mortgage that they give is interest only. And then once the house is completed, then you go into, usually the people take a 30-year fixed mortgage, because now it's going to amortize and it's going to be principal and interest. Because why pay a higher payment when you're not living there and when the house is being built? But then you're going to have to get contract, you have to set up the contractors, the subcontractors, all of that. And it's paid out in phases as the work is completed.
So who pays for the blueprint?
The buyer.
Like the buyer. So before you even start building, like I know it sounds great.
You pay for everything.
So
I was pretty much, I'm sorry, I was pretty much asking about the, the developments that are already, that have lots that you can go and pick out.
Oh, those aren't, you don't get, then you don't need the construction money. Those new construction properties, you're just, you go pick out your lot and they tell you this is how much it costs. And if you want these extras, you don't get the construction money on those.
Okay. Thank you.
We would give you the mortgage and you wouldn't close. Most of them are 6 months and longer.
Okay.
Oh wow, it's over 7. It's after 7 o'clock. I didn't even realize. Let's take one more question. Let's take one more question. We're gonna wrap it up. And Ms. Deborah, if you want to share anything, and Mr. Don, we want to share anything, how to follow you or anything of that nature, I'm fine with it. And then we can wrap it up from there. If you want to put anything in the comments, so be it. A lot of the individuals that's on this call, I know Ms. Wheatley, pretty much communicates with you all anyway, but whatever the process is, I'm fine with it. Go ahead. Who else wants to have a question before we end the call?
I have a question. So I missed the trolley on Saturday.
We had a good time.
I was kind of upset.
We had a real good time, and I'm not trying to make it worse than what it was, but we enjoyed.
I know you all did. But will you all be doing one on the west side?
We can take that in consideration. We can. Miss Africa is our project manager, and Miss Chrissy is our project coordinator, and she does a great job with our outreach. So we can surely put something together. The west side and what area? Because we did just.
Well, I stay in Cicero. Remember, I told you I stay in Cicero.
Oh, it's more like a west suburb.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a township. It ain't that far off of Chicago. Once you pass Roosevelt and Cicero, then you're basically in Cicero, where Al Capone grew up there.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's where I stay. I'm right off Cermak and Cicero.
We can surely take that into consideration, because we're trying to meet. We're trying to meet the needs of everyone to the best of our ability. So that's something that we can also discuss. So yes, ma'am. And we will keep you all abreast of the next, if we do a trolley tour, if we charter another bus, and for our next Equity Saturdays. So we're going to keep you, right now during the holiday season, we're trying to, allow people to really make that transition to the new year. And then we're going to, kick it off again. And plus, it's, Chicago get cold. So walking in and out of those houses could be kind of tough and brutal, but we're going to work it out. I promise you. All right. Okay. All right. Well, listen, this is what I want to say. First of all, happy holidays, everyone. And, Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. Thank you all.
Mr. Davis, there are a few hands that just raised last minute. I don't know. We got Miss Cooper. She's always on the line with us.
Oh, I just had a question. The lady that's the mortgage lender. I wanted to get her name. I'm sorry. What was her name again?
Miss Deborah. She left her information in the comments.
Yeah, I just wanted her information. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
We have Miss Porter on the line also. Miss Porter.
Hey, Miss, is that Miss Africa Porter?
No.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Miss Porter.
Yes, I just basically I'm new to the whole My Turn the whole
It's
program.
okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a quick question. I did attend the trolley thing on Saturday at the bank. Really quick question. Okay, so how does an eviction plays a part in having an eviction plays a part in being a first time home buyer? And I'm sorry if that's like because I'm trying to figure it out.
It's okay, Miss Deborah. You want to take that question?
Okay, I have not when I pull your credit you get a credit pulled. I have not seen on a credit report that showed evictions. Don, have you seen that? Evictions on a credit report?
It depends on what type of property management it is. They'll put an eviction on. It'll show as a collection more so than a charge off. Now, if they've taken you to court and receive what's called a judgment.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry?
No, go
If
ahead.
they go to court and if they go to court and get a judgment on you, it's still not going to show up on your credit report because judgments don't report on your credit bureau. So the judgments, any court orders for documentation, either coming out of your check or when we get the title work, the title is going to show that you have a judgment against you. Or if you have an eviction that's been forced to a judgment, if it's not on your credit report, it's going to be on the title report.
Okay. So because the eviction is like it's still in court. It is in court. It's not settled because of what happened with COVID. Because so it wasn't like no court. I couldn't really go to court and like fight it or whatnot. So should I wait then until I get like that whole situation settled before I try to get a home?
No, you got many options. Honestly, IDA has some assistance, rental assistance help that you can apply for and work with them on. But Cook County is very forgiving in reference to foreclosures. If you attend and go to court, trust me as a landlord, they will work with you if you go down there. If you make the court appearance, they will work with you. If you do not show up, you'll get what you get. But you've got to go to court.
Okay, yeah, it's in court, and it's in court through legal aid. But like I said, with COVID happening, it's just like I'm just waiting. And I thought, because I didn't know anything about the whole process, I kind of like just fell off of trying to get in a home because I thought that would, hurt me in some type of way. So, but now I understand. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, that sounds good. Was that it? We're about to wrap it up. Okay, Mr. Don, I appreciate you all so much for the wealth of knowledge that you share. Mr. Don Meadows, also Ms. Deborah, you are truly the bomb.com. You're always jumping on here with a wealth of knowledge and just educating us, motivating us, and liberating us to get to that next level where homeownership is concerned. I also want to thank my amazing staff, my project manager, Miss Africa, also Miss Chrissy for the great work she's doing, Miss Shanaze Mogbo, and I don't know if Miss Martin is on the phone and Miss Sade Humphrey is on the phone, but listen, it takes a team, but more than anything, I also want to thank our president, Mr. J. Mark Green, that has created this platform for all of us to educate one another on homeownership and also obtaining new tools to get to the next level of life. Listen, you all have a great holiday. We're so excited every Wealthy Wednesday, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. Good night, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.